What's up, guys? This is Codes.
Matthew Anthony here.
Hey guys, Anammer here.
Hi, my name's Gulp.
Mac Vaughn here.
My name's Winter.
Dom Kane. Bjorn Akesson.
Julian Gray.
Christian Vance.
The Secrets.
U.S.
Protoculture.
Austin Hot.
Hi folks, and welcome along to another Sonic Academy live show number 14. Chris, how are you today?
Every week I'm surprised we make it back for another show. Every week it's like, really? Thank you very much for joining us again on the chat, everyone. It's lively as always already, and it's really great to see everyone. Lots of discussion about how it's really good to see Phil on the chat. People started their tutorial careers with you, Phil, and now seeing you live.
I know, I think, what was the first one I did? It was...
What year? 2009? 8?
I don't know. What was I'm trying to think of the first one. It's just an Ableton. Oh no, Paul Hamill did the first Ableton course, didn't he? And that was number 1. And then I did the. Do you remember we used to do this? Do you remember? We used to do the thing where we were typing and then you turn around. Hi and welcome to Sonic Academy.
Let's go into the door and return.
That's right.
Yeah. So
we had it all. We had it all set up. I think Brian built the room.
It was a technological nightmare.
Yeah.
It was genuinely, because we were in a city centre office thing with really flimsy windows. You to put bin liners all over the place to make it dark.
There was a bus stop outside outside the place, and the buses used to come right, but double-decker buses used to come right beside the place, and Brian had to like fill all the windows in with insulation. And I think he did that for 2 weeks, and he used to go home every day covered in insulation, scratching all. Yeah,
from humble beginnings, as I say, little acorns grow into big oak trees, and here we are, still rocking it. What?
Yes, the video with the broken mic was the tool room. I did like a Mark. What's his man from Toolroom called? Mark Knight. I did a Mark Knight course, but I had the wrong mic on, so I did the whole course. And I had my laptop mic on or something and not the real mic, so yeah. And
some of those early courses are brilliant because you would like go, I'm going to do a travel course, and then get halfway through and never finish it. And we had to put it out.
Because I still keep getting that. I think did we remove it, but the peak time trance or there was one course where I sort of said, yeah, we'll come back and we'll do this, and I never did. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, look. Anyway, guys, hope it's all been a good week for everyone out there. I know it's getting tough. It's been up and down for everyone. We work from home and always have, but it's still, very, very tough for us as well. Some days are really, really good. Some days are, a slog, and you're just going, I just want this to be over and end them. So we hopefully have some.
Pretty lucky, really, aren't we? That we've been ultimately able to continue unchanged, I would say, and I think we're very lucky in that respect, so we do appreciate
appreciate. We're talking off air going, look, by the slimmest of margins, Sonic Academy is one of those companies that does well in this time.
I mean, we used to have a physical business which would be completely destroyed, I'm sure now, so we sort of you can imagine there's a lot of people out there that are still struggling with stuff, so
look, hopefully I don't know whether people are really enjoying this and really getting to grips with making some music and going, do you know what, I'm just going to use this as a time. I have the Push 2 sat beside me, which I told you a couple of weeks ago I'm going to really learn.
And you're not, so I'm going to back.
I haven't switched it on.
I know, I do miss, because I would sometimes I would just have it set up and then I would just do like a wee live jam, and it's really good for doing like a live arrangement. And I've never actually set up all my hardware, because I've got a TR8S, which has been used for a couple of live shows, but I've never actually. It's just hooked up to my I've got an Elisa's drum kit, but I've never actually used it, to load in samples and program and do stuff on the live. Then I've got the OB6, the DeepMind. I've got a Mofo, and I would just love to like hook it all up and see if you can actually do like a wee live performance and see if like hardware is useful or not.
Yeah, no, it's all intentions are good. Do you know what I'd love to do as well? I'd love to take about a week off and just actually do nothing except make music and just not have to do emails or worry about this coming in or that coming in.
A secret holiday.
I could
pretend you're going to work, but actually just be making tunes.
Well, once lockdown, I might.
All you would do would be bring your Xbox out to the studio and play F1 all week.
Totally would. I'm the world's worst driver. It's like Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. We have a league going, and we were in it there on Wednesday night. I came fourth in a race, which was good. And
I did not finish 2 of them. So there you go. I took a wheel. So what has been floating your boat this week, Mr. Full?
What have I been working on? Some more stuff for the Progressive House Pack. It's coming along nicely. I was working on some pads for it.
Which reminds me, we got our new Anna pack finished 2 days ago.
The soundtrack pack?
That will become soundtrack pack. Mr. Timmy Gibson.
Could we do I don't have it all. Yeah.
No, you don't have the masters there. You just haven't unloaded it. So Timmy's done beautiful demos. They're really amazing. Big soundtrack.
I think it really brought the inner sound designers out of all the guys. Who worked on it. Ozzy's done some stuff.
We have Ozzy on it. We have P-Lask on it. We have King Unique on it. We have Timmy himself on it. We have some guy called Phil Johnson. And I did two.
He did two whole presets. You always get at least a couple in.
I do always get, and they're probably the best of the whole pack.
Yeah. And what's the pack? What would you say? Could you use it for other things other than soundtrack, or do you think it's useful in any other dimensions?
Totally, but for the big trancy expansive pads or drop downs, big atmospheric things,
cool
and that progressive stuff, definitely cool sounds. And we actually have a guy called Alex Schaeffler. No, no, that's wrong. Axel Schaeffler is the illustrator of all the Julie Donaldson books. I can't remember his name, but he's
is that the tiger who gave the tea?
No, the Gruffalo.
Oh, the Gruffalo. Oh, right, yeah.
So this guy Alex he's German, and he does game design, sound design, trailer music, and he does film music and stuff. So he's actually going to take the pack and show us how to make a trailer.
That's going to be a tutorial then, yeah?
That's going to be a tutorial, kind of, how to make music for games or for movie trailers or, in movies and stuff. And he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And so he's going to use the pack in that. So I'm really excited to get that out.
Good stuff.
And other things, we have been chatting with Sharooz today. Sharooz has done a course. If you don't know Sharooz, he founded actually Sounds to Sample, which then turned into Beatport Sounds, and then he went on to
Sample Magic.
Find Sample Magic, and that was recently bought by Splice. So he sits on the board of Splice, and Sharooz is from
also Prince of Pleasure, isn't it?
Is it Pleasure Principle? Principle Pleasure?
Yeah.
So he posted on Facebook, and it resonated with me about radical changes to the music industry. Where after all this happens, where we go with it, because there is a seismic shift going on here at the moment, and I think it was borne out by the post from Carl Cox and Martin Hez Brothers and stuff, all the techno guys, asking for donations to their tour manager, and it kind of blew up. So, Phil, we've been looking at this week and discussing it and chatting about it. What are your kind of...
Well, I think after the discussion we were talking about, for us it's very easy to sort of sit back and sort of lambast people for, asking for donations and stuff, but from our super comfortable position of things not being particularly affected, I think that's very easy. On the other hand,
multi-millionaire DJs.
Yeah, multi-millionaire DJs asking for handouts are they asking for... I mean, a lot of them are asking for people to pay to watch shows. I mean...
I think this is annoying people that a certain DJ in his LA mansion is setting up a stream and charging £10 to watch the stream. and allowing 1,000 people in. So he's going to make 10 grand from that stream.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's another issue there. Is it very much depends if they're going on and playing all their own music which they've created. I think that's one thing. I think a DJ charging money to go and play someone else's music grinds me up in a way that, you know, the other thing doesn't. And I don't know why. Maybe that's just because I'm not a DJ.
Well, we discussed this earlier on because we were kind of producers first, DJ second. Yeah. In fact, you said you weren't ever really a DJ, were you? You were.
I have DJed a few times, but the majority of my performances were live.
Can I tell you a fun fact about me?
Yes.
I was ranked 67th best DJ in the world on the DJ Top 100, and I didn't own a set of decks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I DJ'd at Planet Love a couple of times, and then I DJ'd at Privilege. I'm sure you did. Were you there that night as well?
God, I hate it. I hate it. I hate Privilege.
I would, because I mean, I could DJ. I had decks at home. I would DJ the odd time. I bought a lot of records because I was into production and stuff. But I was never I was never even a DJ like my mates, like Paul Hamill or you or Robbie or Gleave or anyone were. But
yeah,
I could mix, and you know, I was okay. You know, I could put a beat together. But I never really enjoyed it. You know, I remember. I think I used to get nervous as well because I wasn't super good at it. And I remember. When we were doing Privilege, I got so drunk, and to get to the DJ booth in Privilege, you have to walk over like a walkway over the swimming pool.
A gangplank that,
yeah,
and you're
like
steaming.
A foot and a half wide. I was steaming.
With no railing or anything.
It was just like a diving board, just like, and I literally had to crawl across it. I was so drunk.
We were
I was so nervous, and then so I played. I think my first track was a BT track. I can't remember, but I got through a few tracks, and then that was it. And then I'd done a few gigs, and then I DJ'd down in Galway on my own. That was the first time DJing without Gleave, and it was a complete shambles. It was so bad. It was just, and that was the last time I ever DJ'd. And after that, it was all Ableton live sets and stuff. And
my best Privilege. I hated Privilege because it was just this big echoey echoey chamber thing, and things like BT's records never worked because they were so intricate. You just had to hammer out like sort of big, you know, stompy things to get anything going. But we were DJing one night, and Alex P turned up, walked across the plank, stood in the DJ box in just his boxer shorts, nothing else on, nothing, with kisses all over it. And we were like, what's he doing? He goes, I'm DJing tonight. And we were like, no, you're not. Says, yeah, I'm on tonight. Completely gone, gone. And we did like get on our mobile phones behind the DJ box going, Alex B's insisting going on. And he went, he's on tomorrow night, kick him off. So we had to like get like all the security to lift him away. It was ridiculous.
I've been to Ibiza twice, and both times were for like 24 hours. I just flew in, flew out.
Yeah.
And that was enough. I remember we went. It was when we'd met Carl Cox when we DJed with him over in the Stiff Kitten, and then he invited us out to his villa, and so we went over then. But the night before we met him, we went down to San Antonio, and it was just carnage. It was just people lying about.
San Antonio was
horrible,
grim.
Absolutely horrible.
We would have done Eden and stuff, but that, you know, it brings us on to Carl. I met in Singapore. We did the
He's
Singapore.
He's a really super nice guy.
He is a genuine, and I feel for him in this post because he's probably been caught up. And I actually know that one of the DJs in the post didn't ask for donations and didn't know. He was just, you know, they were going to do this kind of mix thing where the tour managers were going to do a mix, and then the DJs that they tour managed were going to do a mix. And they were going to
where was the money going to the tour managers?
Well, to the tour managers. It was kind of like it was trying to raise funds, and I think it was slightly manipulated in the edit. And the intent was probably not explicitly told to the DJs. So I think some have come out and you know, I think where everybody got riled was they're multi-millionaire DJs. This is a tour manager's job. You should be helping out and not asking the public. The public are broke at the moment. Everyone's 33 million unemployed in America, whatever, 3-4 million unemployed here.
Yeah.
It's going to mean we haven't even seen the carnage yet because we're in lockdown. I think the carnage is to come. So I think that other DJs, trans DJs, are asking for donations, which I was reading today. I was just getting more and more angry. You know, it's like, right, can you get a part-time job, or can you sell the fucking keyboard that's sitting behind you? And you know,
it's a tricky one. I mean, donations are one thing. I mean, can you like make tracks and try and sell them, or
totally? That's give some
do
give some
tutorials,
worth.
or like do something that's a lot of people on my friends list who are like gigging musicians and stuff that I've seen them put up, the coffee, buy me a coffee type donation thing. I'm not sure what that is, but I've seen that a few times. That's totally legit. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't know. It's a tricky one.
I guarantee that producer, if I went and said, "Would you like to do a course for Sonic Academy? And here's really good money," they would probably say no, and that would that interests me. Why they would turn down work, and if it's that bad, why why you wouldn't be just going, I'll do it, I'll do anything and exposure. But we'll see. I think with Sharooz, I talked about streaming. We talked about the revenue share of streaming and how he couldn't. So do you want to go into Demo Doctor first, or do you want to play the Sharooz interview after Demo Doctor?
Yeah, we can go into Demo Doctor and then we can have another chat about stuff.
Because it all got a bit heavy and serious there.
Sorry, we don't want to be heavy and serious, but I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's a weird one. It's a real hot topic that we wanted to talk about, because I think DJs have lost their income until I'd say at least next year.
Yeah.
So what do we do, and how do we fix it? So let's head over to some demo doctoring.
Yeah. Okay. Deep techno. Let's get the folder open so we can see who these are all by. Yeah. Also, let us know in the chat what you think about this palaver.
Yeah. Let's have a listen. When you're setting up, I'll have a read.
Okay, this first one is Ajan Peterson. Deep techno.
And while that's playing, I have just received a new track from Harvey McKay, his techno track, and it is insanely deep. I absolutely loved it. It was, you think the gnarliest techno that you can think of, and this is it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Awesome. Okay.
So quite a floaty intro for techno.
It's deep though, deep techno.
It's deep techno. Who's this by?
This is Arjan Peterson. Have we got Arjan on the chat?
Arjan, if you're in the chat, say hello. Alice Laz on the chat. I haven't said hello to people. I will once this plays.
Tutorial tomorrow is how to use Collision and what's it one? Corpus. Ableton Live Suite plugins.
Ableton Live. That's with Pilask, who's an Able certified trainer. So it's a brilliant course. Okay, right. So how dark do you think this is, or deep?
Yeah. Kick seems okay. Hat seem okay.
I like the wee atmospheres.
Yeah. I think possibly that sweepy pad thing.
Yeah.
The delays on it maybe aren't being sidechained as well, so it sort of, for me, it makes it seem too floaty almost. It's not sort of pumping and driving enough maybe because of that. I mean, there, I think you need your bass in.
Yeah, you need something in there. Boom, 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 boom. And you need that kind of techno rumble bass, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I'd be flying it on now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bass there, so I'm assuming that bass came in there. You get that bass up and maybe compress it a bit more and sort of bring it up and have it a bit more involved. What do you think of those claps, Chris?
They're too housey for me. They're not. I don't like the sort of there seems to be like a spreader on them or something.
Yeah.
A widener. I don't like that. And I'd rather hear slightly more lo-fi clap, more.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like those claps, but I don't think they suit the track necessarily.
No, that's the claps are fine.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're in keeping. Wish the bass was a bit more aggressive or something.
Yeah, you need to, with a transition there, you need more happening than just taking the kick out and putting it back in, I think. Okay, that's far gone. I don't think it's progressing too much.
Just not enough happening in this for me.
No. It's a nice sound. I actually quite like that sweet sound, but you know, you need to go, you know, get some vibes into it.
Nice little belly sounds coming in, so it's, you know.
Yeah, assuming these are all.
It's hinting at something. Yeah, it just looks the same.
I mean, I think, you know, some tracks get the sort of the emotional atmosphere right. And I think that sort of nails it. You know, that's sort of the vibe that you want to be in, you know, but I think just from a technical point of view, you know, you want to be maybe sidechaining the delays and stuff to get a bit more of a pump going on. You want to get the bass up to give it more energy. Your transitions, you need sort of something more interesting happening there. And breakdown, again, you need more of a build, something more exciting happening.
Yeah, it's kind of like one idea stretched out for 6.5 minutes or so, and I think it needs a few more ideas. I think you've got the emotional energy correct, but I think just the elements around it, the bass just needs to be built upon. It sounds like, you know, a demo that's been knocked up in 2 hours and now needs 4 or 5, 6 hours work on it to make it really interesting and swirly. So, but look, cool. Who's next? We
have Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey, oh, you're nutty.
What's the deal with people not starting their tracks at the start this week?
What? Silence?
Silence for like a couple of seconds.
Right, okay.
What's that? 30 seconds for a breakdown?
Yeah.
Possibly a bit soon.
It all depends. If it's kind of like main stage, kind of Nicky Romero, Martin Garrix, it might be alright. It feels like one of those sort of things.
Better kick off. Yeah, that change there with the bass line, I'm not fond of.
Yeah, it's confusing. Something rhythmically confusing there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's got potential. Like I sort of like the drop down bits and stuff when it's going on, but I don't think he's got the sort of the running section sort of.
Yeah, it's not really hands in the air sort of stuff. Some really cool elements,
yeah, some really nice sounds, and I think the kick and the bass together work quite well. And
what's this?
Is it mono?
Somebody's asking. Yeah, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Sub is a bit much where you are. Sub actually sounds okay here.
See, there's nearly a big riff there. Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
Need a big, horny riff here or something.
give it the beans. I'm gonna give it the beans. Just 2 seconds while I...
Beans? Oh, don't be doing that to me.
Yeah, it's actually okay. Bit sub-heavy there, but not too bad.
So yeah, look, Charles Somerset said, yeah, at least it's original. It actually genuinely, yeah, feels a bit sort of different from
a few
what
sections.
we
Just
normally
that sort of middle section there where the sort of bass doubled up. It didn't really gel with me, but I think there's some really nice ideas. Again,
I really love the guitar-y thing.
Question, if it was on your deck, if it was on your board, what would you do?
Create a riff. It needs a hook. It's, you know, the wee chopped up vocal is good. It's not enough to make it a really standout hook, and it needs some sort of more thing, you know, some horn or type thing. The main section is just a bit weak.
Agreed.
And a bit sort of. You want a bit more. Come on. So more techniques, almost bouncy vibes. I'm going to say hello to everyone while I remember. Cosmic Cat, hello. Osram VR, hello. Burgerslow Porach, hello. Alexei Chervnev, hello. Deadly Custard, hello. Toby Pierce, hello. Anthony B, hello. To anybody else that's joined the chat, thank you very much for joining in. If you don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash like, comment, and do something. There you go.
Huh?
Have you moved it?
What?
What's it doing way up there?
I just thought it would be cool.
Cool up there.
I don't know.
Ron Moore, hello. Alice La, hello. How you doing?
Hi, Alice.
Alice La. Thank you very much for joining us. What have we got next? Saw Third Dimension. Ben Donaldson. I know Ben's in the chat.
Yeah, you ready, Ben?
Yeah. Oh. Is that really loud or is it distorted?
I think it is distorted. I think the mastering is a bit much there.
Okay.
So we'll have to look at the dynamics on, or the new dynamics. Hitting a 5 there.
What should he be hitting, Philip?
Probably an 8, 7 or an 8.
An 8. Yeah, so immediately it just sounds distorted. It sounds like just way too loud.
Yeah, drop it back 2 dBs before you put your mastering chain.
Nice fill, big reverby
nice
fill.
Vibes. There's the bass.
Lots of big reverb going on there.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I like it.
See, that's very low, isn't it?
It's a weird one because it's like wrong, but it's kind of right.
Well, I find that big roar is just in the same frequency as the bass.
Yeah.
The bass has got reverb. Everything's just a bit messy in that area, and it just maybe needs all cleaned up. And
6 sausage fatteners on the master.
And again, we haven't had much. How long have we been playing there? 2 minutes, and nothing really happened.
Yeah. I think that sort of one is maybe good in a breakdown to build atmosphere, but I don't want that really going in the main section. I think it's sort of track down maybe or takes away some energy. And I can tell instantly that this breakdown is exactly the same as the last breakdown because it's exactly the same wave shapes. I really like this bit though. I think there's definite atmosphere there. I would discontinue it at that point and just have the bass, you know, build up that sort of driving section more. I really like those snares.
So to me, just his choice of sounds are all in the same area, and you need to just have separation, frequency-wise.
I like the way that I'd be doing more with that sort of bass line and sort of
because it moves from the frequency
you're
area.
getting
It
up
kind of
into
becomes
sort of nicer,
it starts poking out a
nicer
bit.
zones.
I'm going to put one of our chat users on a timeout.
Who's got a timeout?
I don't know. He's a Russian name, but he's just not being very positive. He's on a timeout.
Oh, I didn't know you could do timeouts.
I didn't. I just saw it. So
there you go.
Yeah. So what have we got next?
If that track was on my, didn't mean to start that. If that was on my board, I would separate the breaks from the main section. Have something sort of another element that is sort of driving that main section on, and then you want to manage the bass through the breakdowns and stuff, because when you're in a club, that bass is what sort of, when it comes back, is the sort of release, is the big thing. So I think in breakdowns you want to kind of try and manipulate people with that, and build up more and use that to sort of create excitement. And then you just don't, I don't know, I don't want sort of patty long drony sounds over a drive-in section. Really, you can have sort of, if they're up a bit in frequency, that's okay, but I think just having them down that low, I don't know, doesn't sound right to me. I just think that your sound choice is just everything was in the same area. You're putting lots of big reverbs, and it all just became a little bit of a mush. And just maybe back everything off and start when you filtered up the bass line, it started to poke through and immediately caught our ears. I just want to say, look, people are saying there's quite harsh comments on here. Yeah, don't look. We're trying to be positive and point people in the right direction, because starting out, it first of all, it's really, really hard to expose your track to all the comments and everybody listening, and it's a really brave thing to do. And we try and be positive, and I don't want to see any sort of neggy comments from any. We have no constructive criticism. By all means, get it in there. You know what I mean. But we don't want to just be slagging tracks off. 14 weeks we've had all really, really positive comments. So anybody not being positive, I'll put you on a timeout. How long do you go on timeout for?
300 seconds.
300 seconds? Have you got to be countdown and all? It tells you how long.
No, it just said the user's timeout by this was timed out by Sonic Academy for 300 seconds. So be nice in the chat. And if you don't tell me how good looking I am, I'll time out. I'll put you on
everyone timed out. You want a timeout? I'll give you timeout.
Yeah. So look, come on, be positive. I know it's 14 weeks, and we're probably 10 of those in lockdown, and everyone's getting a little bit gnarly and down to get outside for a pint and stuff. So look, critique is useful, but as long as it's positive,
constructive.
Mars
it doesn't have to be
positive.
It has to be constructive. Because it can be rubbish. A track could be rubbish, and you go like, this isn't very good, but maybe you should think about doing this, and this. You don't have to bullshit people and say, oh, your track's super good. It can be bad, but you can be understanding and go, your track's not great, but this is how you work and make it better. Hopefully.
And we do want to be honest as well. Give you an honest opinion.
Liking this?
Yep, we've shut up, so we have to listen.
Oh, sorry. This is Christopher Lieberher. Quite go off there the way I was hoping. Reminds me of the Rave in the Matrix.
Yeah.
The Matrix Revolutions.
Yeah. Is there a timing issue there with the drums? Is something a bit late or looping not quite right? Here, Phil, I had an idea for a plugin, by the way.
Oh yeah.
A plugin that throws your audio off time a little bit, sort of like the old sequencers.
A MIDI plugin or a?
Just a plugin that just moves things about slightly, so it's all wobbly.
Well, you can kind of do that with tape. You know, tape one flutter.
Yeah, but you get a pitch change there. I like that piano.
Yeah, there's a couple of wee bongo things out of tune. Not out of tune, out of time.
At a time. And that I think needs like a higher element on it, you know, to really ding 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 ding, you know, to really hammer it home and
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
I think there's a. I think just again that sort of the layering thing, which is, you know, positioning your bass and positioning your percussion and your sounds in a spectrum where they're, and this doesn't mean, you know, like hard EQing and, you know, high cut filters and stuff like that. I'm just talking about generally having a bit more awareness of, like, you know, your kicks down here, your bass, and then your percussion and stuff, and building the track up with some layers so it sort of spreads things out and generally creating space. And, you know, I think when things aren't hitting on time, like those percussion, that fills up more space. You know, when things hit on, then they sort of gel together and it sort of creates more space. So I think let me have a listen. I think that, you know, the riff, that ding 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 ding. Your bass, which is a saw bass, so it's carrying a lot of frequency spectrum. You know, you've got the low, you've got the, you know, mids and highs on that, so, you know, that's taking up a lot of space. I'd maybe, if, you know, have the piano, you know, just trying to be in one zone and then have a bass that's maybe more bassy in another zone. Maybe that's maybe how I would look at it.
And I think there should be a higher element, you know, a more sawy thing on top, you know, one of those sort of, these are sort of, feels like this is a main stage type production, and they need to really, you know, like a Tomorrow World type thing, and they need to really hammer home on a big system and get everybody, you know, again, thinking of your audience, we're talking about, always think, where's this record going to be played? How do we get it across?
Yeah.
And they tend to be sort of really dramatic records, those sort of main stagey things. They're not subtle, they're quite in your face.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's a million miles away. I think, you know,
no, totally not.
I really like that it's got a very key sort of motif in it, you know, that sort of that you can do something with, and it's quite a good one. You know, you sort of can manipulate that. I think, again, it sounds like a house production with a big room vibe, a big room melody sort of thing.
I think you've absolutely nailed it there. That's exactly what it is. It's like a subtle house production with a big room vibe, and it needs to have a big room production on top of it, and just you know, it's almost kitchen sink in these things. It's almost, you know, more, you know, and just turning everything up. You know, ding, 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 ding. You know, think of Swedish House Mafia. Go and listen to Swedish House Mafia stuff.
I think that's it. I think that's what the nail is there. It's definitely a Swedish House Mafia vibe, and you need to be more precise, but stronger kick. Potential.
Good potential. And have we one more?
We have one more. We'll do 5 this week.
We're doing five this week. Well done. Who's this?
This is
Toby Pierce.
Toby, you're
Hi,
in the
Toby.
Chat.
He's in the chat.
I'm liking the look of this waveform.
Good, nice.
I genuinely have not heard this yet, so.
Okay.
Good kick, like your kick.
Like shakers.
Oh, there's Toby on the chat. Good kick.
Lovely pluck.
Where'd you get your kick, Toby? Please say kick too.
I love that pluck. That's really, really nice pluck.
Yeah, kick too, and you thought I recognised it. Ew.
It is bizarre. We hear pop records like from big artists, and you go, I can hear kick two in that record. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nice vibes.
Where are the plucks from? Please say Anna too.
Fire or something. Show us the waveform. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. You don't want to see us.
I didn't realise. Yeah, taking that.
I would change that bass sound a little bit. I think it's too open. I just like to hear something a bit darker. The groove is right. The part's right.
Yeah, it's like that Camel Fat remix of Dirty South.
Dirty South, yeah. Yep. Your groove's great, like your hats. I love this. I love when we end on a big.
Yeah. Liking it.
Loving it. And it goes back to that thing, Phil, we were talking about, the sort of the late 90s trancey vibes are coming back again, you know, that sort of, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's building lovely. This is one of those ones in the club where you start getting shivers. You're like,
can you see the way
you can turn an atmosphere.
The waveform, the RMS is building nicely there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Love seeing that.
Don't let us down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chords, good chords. Oh, goodness.
So am I going to turn it up? Love it.
Maybe a bit more reverb. Those vocals sound a bit too up front to me, potentially.
Yep. It's got all the moves.
Yeah. Nice build up there.
One.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that bass.
To me, it's just poking through way too much.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little. It's correct part, correct groove. It just sound design needs changed.
Yeah, agreed. I think.
And I would have something in the mid range there when you kick in. You know, just.
I think
Ding, ding.
need more reverb on those vocals. They're freaking me out that they're too like dry in my bass. Yeah.
That section there, Toby, it should be utter chaos. You know, it should be like, come on, you know. And it's a bit tame for me. It's.
Yeah, I think because the bass is sort of taking up quite a lot of space, you're not really hearing those like stabs and stuff that could be doing more maybe.
And I'd like to hear pads,
More
sort of real
atmosphere,
side
that-
shading. Yeah.
Really good track, and loads of potential there.
I think literally tweak your bass line, maybe a few more pads, and you've got a killer
Let me
track
just
there.
show. I'll just very quickly show. I think the sort of sound I think you could maybe use in the bass. I recreated the one from. I think I showed you this maybe last week as well, but just from the Progressive Pack.
Camel Fat, yeah.
Camel Fat 303. Just it's the same sort of. I'm not getting. Oh yeah, one thing.
So you're kind of 303 type
it's
sort of.
you can get the same groove and the same sort of vibe, but you know you're not sort of you don't have it opened up, so you're not going full saw mode.
Plus, then at key points you can open it up and you get, you know, it'll create a nice riser effect. You know, it's just, you know, you're just driving it along and then get a real kick in there, and that just your part and everything's correct. You're just, I think, Phil's right. You need a more, something around that area. I think would definitely do it. Brilliant track. I love ending on a big high.
tracks tonight, guys. Thank you very much for submitting.
Guys, thank you so much for sending tracks in. We do appreciate that it does take a lot of guts to send it in and to expose your tracks to the world and open for
we're
criticism.
Happy to take super finished tracks. We're happy to take very basic tracks, and we just sort of every week we try and pick some. We have a very brief listen when we get them in, and we just go, is there something to talk about here, and is there something we can help with? So by all means, send them in at whatever stage, well, preferably finished, but whatever sort of level you're at, feel free to send them in, and we will try and be as constructive as possible. Because
it is good getting the noob tracks in, and we can give what we think is hopefully good advice.
We try and get a bit of a mix every week, don't we?
And it is lovely getting some of the big smashers in. You're just going, nailed it. They're lovely as well. So look, equally good. So thank you so much.
So we've got Sharooz coming up. And
yes.
There's a topic around that. Should we talk about the topic after the interview or before the interview?
We'll talk about quickly before it, because he touched on 3 or 4 points, and we kind of so it was he thinks that, and I tend to agree with him, that performance income from do you want to cut to your screen there?
Yeah. So this is a post on Beatport, and it covers a lot of the stuff that Sharooz was talking about, doesn't it? He was agreeing with most of this stuff.
Definitely. So prioritize mental health. So yes, I've first-hand experience of this, of traveling around the world, and
it's a very lonely
existence. And there were two of us did, and we used to hate when sometimes they would just book one of us, and you're flying all the way to. I remember flying to Singapore. Left at say Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was back home on Sunday afternoon. And I spent 24 hours in the air and about 6 hours on the ground. Went and did the gig, had something to eat, and back on a plane. And it kills you, and it's hard being away from family, and you're away from key moments in people's lives and stuff. So
the points on this, do you think that's relevant? They're saying trying to reduce air travel and reorganize schedules around buses and trains. DJs are not going to do that. That's not going to happen.
It's not good. If I'm going to say you get the number 7 from
days off should be factored into touring schedules, like hours time to decompress. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Totally.
This only applies to that sort of super top echelon, really. That are sort of turn again. It's sort of
it's you get on a plane because you get there quicker and you can then get rest. So it's kind of nature local scenes. This is something we also discussed.
Yeah, I think this is a really important thing that I think I guess is out of the control of a lot of people, because I'm sure there's a lot of promoters out there, sort of lower and mid levels, that are trying to push through and do things. The likes of Phil Lucas and stuff running Twitch, versus the behemoth that is Shine or stuff like that. It can be very difficult to sort of manage that scenario when you've got the booking power of a massive organization. So are those type of big MCD and companies like that going to relinquish control over, towns and cities? I very much doubt it. It's going to have to be up to them to sort of, promote. Is it? Or, I don't know. How do you do that? People that monopolies get built in cities, and people tend to, own stuff. We have one here, and it's a big monopoly, but it can put on the biggest shows. Then it can bring them into town, and those shows are spectacular, but they're bloody expensive, and it takes so much money out of the economy for the local gigs, the local up and coming thing. And I think it's decimated the weekly club and the monthly club. I think they've been kind of killed because of this. He also talked about I would say that the ones that are run by Shine and that crew are extremely good clubs and popular weeknights as well. They've got really good student nights. They've got a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday that all run exceptionally well, but having that doesn't leave a lot of room open for upcoming promoters, people wanting to put on their own events. I don't know.
It was I think 10 years ago it was a very different landscape where local, you could take a punt on and get DJs for 400 or 500 quid. I think every DJ's looking $5,000 now and stuff, and it's a bit sort of that's an issue.
And do you think if sort of promoters were going to put on more local acts, that would have a detrimental effect on people actually going out, or people that interested going to see local acts, or is the only reason they're going out is to see established names and stuff? Or?
I think I think kids nowadays want to see established names and want to see the big, last year here we had Eric Prydz, we had Ben Nicky. This year we have MK and KC Lights. We're coming to do, this is 30,000 people that they're playing to. We had Avicii's second last ever gig in Belfast, so it was, and he retired after the Vital in Boucher Road. So, look, I remember trying to years and years ago. You could get some decent names for decent money, and I think that's going for local promoters. And it's such a financial risk now to put on a gig. It's just too risky for some people. Whereas you could have taken a punt, and you could probably run at a loss for one or two gigs because the loss wasn't too bad. I think one loss now can put your lights out. So, the other thing he talked about was streaming. And streaming revenues and how they're out of whack. And I have a real problem with. We were talking today about streaming revenues and trying to unpick it, and it's so fucking complicated.
I think that is one of the big problems. We were sort of looking at Spotify income. So the gist is, Spotify only takes 30%. All the rest of the streaming income splits amongst the performers or the music.
Yeah.
But the way that it's counted seems to negatively affect smaller acts.
It's heavily weighted towards the top 0.04% of the acts. So they were saying out of the $9.99 that you pay a month, the top 0.4% would receive about 5.6 of that.
Yeah.
Leaving 4.3 to be distributed. So it's just heavily weighted against.
Rather than all the money going into a big pot and it being a popularity contest, you would directly pay for the things that you're listening to. So, for example, if your subscription is a tenner a month and you only listen to Agnelli and Nelson all month, they would get your tenner.
Which you should do. And that's,
should do.
So I believe in that. And I think
that's not the way it works. So, and
I think,
but it doesn't seem to be a massive, difference. There's just an extra sort of 5% of cash that would then be distributed. I think they were saying.
And then I read something, moving the subscription from $9.99 to $12.50 makes a massive difference to revenues to the artists. And they are saying, you pay, this is £12.50 for all the music ever recorded in the world, basically.
Yeah.
A month, and it's not a lot to pay for. But whatever economics behind it was, it made a huge difference to the income streams to the artists. So I think this is a hangover from the really cowboy days of the 60s and 70s, where contracts were so complicated. And I went through it myself, and they were, I have in my contract that is utter bullshit. I have 100% packaging deduction. Sorry, 90% packaging deduction for digital downloads. So they can take, the record company that I was with could take 90% of the income for packaging on a digital download when there's no packaging exists.
Yeah.
And that's in the contract. And
yeah, I mean, that's the main thing. I think a lot of, especially if they're sort of artists that are starting off that have signed record deals, might not know what they've signed.
Yeah.
And that instance definitely seems to favour.
So I think in this world of technology, we can have a much simpler system. We could definitely have, pay per play. If your song gets played, you get the exact amount for that song, rather than it being weighted in 0.4% of the top artists and not you. And I think we can track with blockchain. We can track where it's being played. DJs playing stuff out. They should be accounting for those plays, and the artists should be getting played.
Starting to get. I mean, Record Box are doing that, aren't they? That's all the stuff that's on the Pioneer CDJs that Paul's involved
Hopefully,
with.
Yeah.
He, I think that stuff gets sent back to PRS, doesn't it now? Or it's easier to do it that way.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, look, hopefully can be a groundswell of change. I think people like Bandcamp can maybe be a better platform for indie artists and leave Spotify to the majors who own Spotify and are just waiting it in their favor. So,
there's a couple of guys asking about a course on the music industry. We have sort of something in the works, but it's a tricky subject, so we're trying to figure out a good way to present it. We have a guy who is does talks on music industry stuff, and we are chatting to him at the minute about doing a publishing one. Just where does the where income streams, basically, you know, if you release a track, where do you collect money from? What's, you know, what your Spotify split's likely to be? Where do you know, who gets your money? If you're signed to a label, what should the splits be? And we'll try and go through all that sort of.
Totally, because the idea is we're teaching you how to make the track, and we want to do a course on, now you've made the track, you know, what do you do next? And he'll go through about artist profiles, and do you need a manager, and what do you look out for, and marketing, and hopefully so we can just
the thing that, you know, I'm interested in right now. I'm working with Alice and doing her album, and, you know, we're sort of, what do you you know, we've got a nice bit of work, we've got, you know, what do we do with it? There's 50,000 new tracks on Spotify every week. Like, how do you possibly compete with that? I don't know. It's a whole subject of exciting stuff.
Hold on, I've just seen Mr. Sharooz pop up in the chat. Hello, Sharooz. Thank you very much for doing this. And yeah, let's play in his. I had a chat with him yesterday, and we covered some. I edited it down to 6 minutes, and we covered some really interesting subjects. So guys, I'm joined today by Sharooz, founder of Sample Magic, and he made a post this week that I really resonated with me, and he made some really, really interesting points, and I thought I'd get him on to the show to discuss them. Sharooz, welcome along Sonic Academy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing at the moment? How's lock-in working out for you?
You know, I've built this sort of makeshift attic studio here that you can probably see a bit of in the background. And, you know, before I was working on this record for this project I had called Prince of Pleasure, and it was done in my main studio in LA and mixed in Moloko and all these other places. And actually, I've been making way more progress here with just a laptop, a couple of a set of NS10s, and a few things here which are probably out of shot. And it's really good because you're not against the clock. So let's talk a bit about the post. You had a couple of main points, and I really found them interesting. I suppose point number one is streaming revenue for artists. The 70-30 split, you think is highly, highly unfair and needs to be looked at? The kind of streaming revenues I've seen, I mean, I haven't really had anything on Spotify that's been phenomenally huge in terms of the sort of plays it's had. Probably the most I've ever had on a track's maybe been 300,000 plays. You know, there's probably about 1 million plays on it across the board. I think I've literally seen, you know, it's probably about £150 a month, and that's from all the streaming sites, not just Spotify. So that's, you know, iTunes is in there, so Apple Music's in there as well. And that £150, is that across all your catalogue or just one track? That's across the entire catalogue. You know, it has to start with music streaming, and it's not just streaming. There are websites which I won't name on here, not to not upset anyone, but, you know, the idea of splitting revenue 50-50 in selling music just doesn't seem valid anymore when you look at sites like Bandcamp, who just on Friday there gave 100% of revenue directly to artists. I mean, that's incredible. And they served a huge amount of transactions. I can't remember off the top of my head what the number was, but it was even more than when they did this last month. Okay. Do you think it will change? Do you think there's going to be, I mean, now I'd say a lot of DJs, they are possibly out of work until next year, just, you know, gone. Yeah. And there's a certain level of DJ that's going to be okay, that still has the, you know, McLarens and the big house and stuff. And then there's the second tier, and I was that second tier DJ where it was, you know, some months were okay, some months were pretty bad, and the previous month where you were okay paid for that month, and there wasn't a huge fees. I suppose fees have gone up, but it is difficult for those sort of B-level, C-level DJ at the moment. They're just decimated. So do you think what do you think will happen there? Yeah, it's hard to predict. I mean, first and foremost, it's pretty sad. I mean, there's a lot of individuals that have put an entire lifetime's worth of work into what they do and are still, maybe after 10, 15 years of doing it, living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, there are a number of suggestions in the post which did upset some people, which rightfully so. I mean, it took aim at pretty much everybody other than the independently releasing artist, which perhaps isn't fair. I mean, I think anyone who's working in this business and doing whatever they can to help artists deserves, of course, to be paid for it fairly. But I do think the economics need to change. I can't see any way in which it's going to be sustainable or even valid when it's safe to do so to be paying DJs, you know, 5-6 figure fees to do what they do when, frankly, their performance might not even be insurable. The event might not even be insurable against future outbreak. probably talk about the Carl Cox, Joseph Capriati post. I don't know if you've seen it, where they were asking for donations to their tour managers, and it's caused a lot of interesting comments. Should I speak? Are you aware of this post?
Sure. I mean, I think first and foremost, if the video has been edited in a way in which, what is being stated is valid. In other words, these big touring DJs are asking essentially for donations for their tour managers that will likely be furloughed. If that is true, I mean, it's disgraceful, frankly. I think the video features some appearances by artists that have probably been misinterpreted, to be honest. I think the editing in the video, it's probably fair to say from the other side. Yep. There are others in the video that seem to be accepting responsibility for what they've done and don't appear to be particularly apologetic. I mean, look, someone with not much life experience that has suddenly blown up and is DJing all over the world and is, sitting in the front row of fashion shows like a couple of the DJs that were in that video, you can't expect them to have the hindsight to know exactly. Well, you can expect them, actually. Sorry, I shouldn't apologize for that.
Yeah, no,
but, it's difficult. This speaks, I think, to the music industry as a whole. And there's this terrible old school ethic that, there's exploitation of those that are doing it for the experience, exploitation of those that are doing it, to have a certain kind of lifestyle. And that happened, it probably happened to anyone at some stage in their career that is still here. But certainly when I started, 20 years ago, working at London Records at FFRR and Warner Brothers here in London, there was a lot of that. Yeah, I think things will definitely change, and I'm absolutely sure they'll change for the better. Great initiatives around at the moment. PRS announced the second round of their grant initiative yesterday. There's a charity, and they also hold back money, I should say, from distributions that go towards artists that are affected by this. And Help Musicians are also, helpmusicians.org is a website, are also offering grants to anyone that's been affected by this. And, there's going to be more of that. And that's a great thing to see.
Well, Sharooz, thank you very much for joining us on the show tonight and taking time out. I know you're really busy at the moment. Thank you for taking time out to join us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris, for having me. Cheers.
There we go, guys. A really interesting interview with Sharooz. Thank you very much, Sharooz.
I want to thank Sharooz taking time out. I know he's very, very busy with other things at the moment to chat with me, and hope the post resonates. I hope it resonates with you guys. I know it's something I've been thinking about recently. I know everyone's scrapping about to try and find out how to manage and how to keep a career going in these crazy times. Listen, thank you so much. So, we're going to do something a bit different now to try and lighten the mood.
Yeah.
So you do the old chat thing. Brilliant interview. So next, we were chatting today about we like to show different techniques and stuff. And Phil, we were talking about what is.
Do you know? It was actually I was.
Go on.
I can't remember. It was on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
Someone put up a track. Someone went, "Oh, that's just a splice loop." And I was like, "Yeah, but the track." So, the rest of it's a well-produced track, sounds nice, it's going to work in a club. Doesn't matter where the sample's from or that it's an obvious sample or whatever. There was this whole argument about it's cheating. You should be programming your drums live and stuff like that. So I thought I wanted.
It goes back to that kind of post, doesn't it? About sampling drums, and then they go, and that's not cool. So I went and made my drum, and then that's not cool, and I reared the goat to make the skin of the drum.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
the question I'm pondering is what is cheating? So I thought I'd go through some of the sample packs on our store and have a look at what's in them, and can you make a track just with samples and not doing anything else?
Can I add that Phil did this earlier on today, and I was listening to the track, and it sounded absolutely incredible.
It's not going to sound incredible.
And he's going to try and redo it now.
I'm not going to try and recreate the track. I'm going to
not
just
recreate
go
the track.
through the flow that I went through earlier, which was just going through samples. And so I've picked a few tracks or sample packs from our store.
Yeah. Just random, was it? What kind of you're looking?
I was kind of thinking I want some chunky drums and I want some other interesting loopy
disco-y
things.
kind of.
So I do have a couple of things saved. So I've got vocal little like.
I ain't hearing that, Mr. Phil.
You're not hearing that?
No, you've got no listen to on.
Okay, let me have a look.
No.
It is on.
It is on. Go ahead.
Oh, maybe you
Mind
can't.
you.
Maybe listen to doesn't come through the things, maybe.
What things?
Because listen to is just on the master, so I'll throw that in then for you, Chris. You can probably
Yeah.
that now, yeah.
Ding 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 ding
Yeah,
ding.
Moby Play is a really good example. Just a bunch of samples thrown together, and it was like super successful. So, I've got a just a bass loop.
Okay.
It's not even the same key either.
So that's it
That's
from
it.
us tonight.
Thanks very much for watching.
This is where it all goes tits up.
Yeah, we'll try it this way. I was trying to work in C minor, so that sounds better, doesn't it?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay, so let's get some drums. So that's why I sort of got the deep house part to I wanted to make it like a funky housey sort of thing.
Because I kind of that's the genre this stuff works in. Like trance doesn't tend to use these sort of loopy things. You know, it's more. It's just we randomly went and got packed. We had a kind of idea of areas we wanted to be in, so it was just going and grabbing packs from the site and saying downloading and getting loops and stuff together, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna grab that. Obviously, I'm still going to use a kick because I think you still need a kick, don't you? Not use that kick. What kick should we use? High C?
High C kick. Is there a house pack? Techno? No.
No, I'll go through. I've got my users. Got some stuff in my user.
Yeah. Somebody saying chord building software definitely feels like cheating if you don't know basic music theory. I don't agree. I think that you don't need to know music theory if you're making brilliant music.
Yeah, I
doesn't
think that's
matter.
the point. I think that it's the ultimate goal is to just make something cool. Then, so I'm just going to use this bass line differently. Again, I suppose it's a way of talking about manipulating samples as well, and you know what you can do to
disguise things and make them your own. I think that's always, if I was getting a sample, I'd always want to try and, you know, how can I slightly put my own stamp on it? Kashmir rendered some loops from native instruments libraries and sold them as sample packs. I didn't know that.
He did what?
He sampled some loops from native instruments libraries and sold them in his packs. Naughty, naughty.
Get a bit of side chaining on that to get the pump.
Yes.
Always with the side chaining. Always with the side chaining on the bass. Okay, let's look for some more stuff. So we're in C minor. So one thing we can just do quickly is we could just type at the top C min. See what's in C min. Okay, I'll throw that in. Don't know what I'll do with it. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's try.
Too gospel-y.
Harps and leads. We got one lead.
I think where I kind of, when you're searching, I think where I kind of maybe think it's doesn't work is where if you're taking a song starter kit and passing it off as your own without doing very much to it. I think that's possibly slightly cheating.
Yeah.
But grabbing loops for here and there, mixing and matching and manipulating stuff, I think is fine. And not knowing music theory is fine, but taking a song starter, rearranging it out, and then going, "Hi, what do you think?" I think I would draw the line at that.
Let's try this. This is a bit of a random loop choice, but we'll.
Right. So what are you listening for there? Just like
Just
one
something interesting. Again, we were talking about this as well, about how, like, you know, Daft Punk and stuff, you know, used loops to just make stuff interesting.
And they created something genuinely new from the loops that they took, you know. Charles, I'm not saying that learning music theory and composition is definitely wasted. I'm saying it really helps to know it. I don't think you need to know it.
Okay, what else can we do? Let's see what else we've got.
Oh.
We can go like two different. Well, just go to different stuff. We got 80s funk disco. We've got music lips. Let's see what's
So lots of people talking about the Prodigy sampled, Daft Punk sampled, Chemical Brothers sampled, all those kind of acts sampled, and it was an art form, you know, being able to put down a vinyl record and go, I want that part, that's the part, and take it and loop it. I'm sure trance artists sampled. One big thing that's happening, I've seen a few guys on the courses. Taking vocals from YouTube and downloading speeches from films or whatever, or YouTube, spoken word things, and manipulating those and pitching them down and stuff. That's all creative. It's all being creative. And knowing music theory is also being creative. Not knowing music theory and being able to do something is creative. I think, I don't think you need to know music theory. I think it's brilliant to know music theory and really, really helps.
Yeah. Let's try that, see if we can get that in. Yeah, just going through stuff.
And again, it is just run. You throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks and see what works.
One shots, we don't need those.
And in the interview with Patrice Bromwell, kind of reminds me, when he was making his mix albums, he would be throwing tracks at each other and saying, does that work against that? Does that work with that? And I know another producer who actually has done Hollywood movies, and he's done he's won Grammys or Emmys for soundtracks and stuff, and he's the same. He's just throwing millions of samples into tracks and just playing things off each other to see what works, and it creates these incredible vibes.
Bit of bongos, but can be a bit of bongos in there. Just gonna throw drum bus on there. Always like a bit of drum bus. Turn the drive down. LED drums. Yeah, I think that piano is a bit annoying.
That one.
Takes it a bit too jazzy or something, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
A
course that you should, if you're into this sort of stuff, you should go and check out and it's been reminded to me by Mannet as well, Kissy Kissy Sellout. You can check out Kissy. Somebody in chat from Sonic Academy said, "Stop adding stuff. It's done."
Okay.
That's nice. That's really nice. Just need a vocal in there.
Okay, let's get a vocal in. I did pick out that one earlier.
So, Al says if you have a good sample pack, you can be a producer in 5 minutes. There is a skill to selecting the sample, isn't there? You need to have some understanding.
I think it's as well manipulating the samples and doing stuff. Again, I'm sort of just listening for bits I like, and then I'll just cut other bits out. And you're sort of trying to build up a kind of.
Look, it's never been easier to make music, and there's so many tools at disposable. And that end bit's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, just let me see if I can get rid of. Just from about there, maybe.
Something like that. Ugh. Ugh. You've lost the cat. That's the most off-key bit.
Good, no?
Yeah, we're going to release that on Sonic Academy Records.
I'm going to just to double check that I'm not completely mental, I'll put auto-tune on
Well, yeah, I think you are mental. I thought that was the most off-key bit, but, sure, go on.
By the vibe.
Minor. That's your breakdown section.
Yeah.
Bring the vocal in then.
Sam, is it real?
Is it real? There you go.
There we go. There's a track.
Well, look, do you know what? Well done. You didn't fuck it up.
Let's master it quickly. Glue compressor.
Glue compressor. Okay.
Touch a glue compressor. Touch a multi-band. Go for...
People are asking for sausage fattener.
Yeah, 6 sausage fatteners.
I've never owned sausage fattener. Sorry.
What? What are you laughing at, Chris?
Sonic Academy just rated 1 out of 5. I'm going to put Sonic Academy in a timeout.
There we go. £1 million.
There you go.
I'll sell you it for £1 million.
It did. You probably get that in the top 10 of Beatport, no problem.
I was just an
honestly.
experiment. I wanted to see if you could just throw a couple of random sample packs in and okay, right. The question, I suppose the question is, was that?
Do you think it's cheating?
Was that cheating?
Do you think it's cheating?
I don't think it's cheating.
I don't think it's cheating.
I think if you give everyone those sample packs and went, make a track, they would all make different tracks.
That'd be interesting to do, to hand out.
Give some free sample packs and then they
submit the tracks, and we'll give it. Maybe talk about that off air. Maybe do a competition where you get following this. Maybe give out
A bunch of
4 or 5
samples.
samples and submit tracks like we would remixes. Which reminds me, you've one more day, well, day and a half of
This is synthwave.
Synthwave.
Yeah.
So if you've, we've got loads of submissions coming in. You've got a day. You have until, I'll get this wrong, probably 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, GMT or BST.
So get it in Friday night.
Yes, Friday night at 12 o'clock, you'll be fine, right? And don't email me on Saturday afternoon going, I missed the deadline. Because I don't even know the
Friday
time.
night. Yeah, I
Just
think that's
get
a
it
really
in
good
Friday
idea,
night.
Chris. I think we could probably put together every week or every month maybe, right?
Right, yeah.
Pull some samples from the store, put a wee collection together and do a competition on. And then, do you know what? Because we were talking about this earlier, we're always looking like bed music for like our, stuff, intros.
Courses,
Intros to courses, intros to the show, stuff like that. So we could put together some samples, competition, make a track, pick the best ones, win a wee prize, get some stuff, and get your music on like the start of the show or something like that.
Yeah, and we could pay, we could even demo doctors who get demos in, they're really good. We go, we'll have that and pay somebody some money and get, there you go. If they want us to use it, get some cash.
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
What do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's flesh this idea out on Monday morning when we go, was it really a good idea? Was it? Do we get a bit carried away?
That'd be cool. Just getting some samples and making a wee track and like.
No, I don't think it's cheating. You don't think it's cheating. I think where it becomes cheating is if you have like a starter kit and you don't touch it and you just pass that off as your own. I think that's a bit wrong.
Yeah, I remember there was a really big DJ did it. It was one of the Swedish House Mafia. Steve
You've
Angelo.
missed all the chat.
What?
Yeah, you've missed all the chat. They were talking.
Was it
Brian
the
was talking
Steve
about
Angelo
this.
track? Yeah, we just pulled the sample. It was like literally just the sample.
But there was one of those garage tracks in the 90s in the UK, from like So Solid Crew or whatever. And it was on some synths where you could hit a button and it would play the demo of the sound.
Yeah.
And it was the demo of the sound was the track. Because I remember hitting the button going, oh my God, it's So Solid Crew. It was like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah,
ding.
that was it.
Yeah, was that the track, yeah?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So there you go. An alcohol-free episode.
Yeah. I'm about to go and get myself a beer, I believe.
Oh, yeah?
I might do. Well, I don't know.
So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope that was an hour and a half, not totally wasted. And you enjoyed yourselves.
Not to waste your time, but sometimes it can't be helped.
Sometimes we just do. Last week was a total shambles. This week was a much better, coherent.
It was a bit serious this week, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Serious.
Should we get drunk again next week? And just
have a silly. We'll have a silly one next week.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, we covered some serious issues of the week. Yeah. So I shall do my reporter mug. Good night.
Good night. We'll see you on the next one.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Tomorrow's course is going to be Collision and Corpus by PDASK. It is the end of the Synthwave remix competitions. Shall we mention some of the artists that we've got coming up soon?
Yes.
Some of the names.
Yeah, we've got some big yokes in.
Would you like to hear some of the names that we've got coming up? Would you like to tell me on the chat? Say yes, please. Yes, please.
I would.
Okay. For all the trance heads out there, we have Mr. Sean Tyas doing a walkthrough.
Sean Tyas? The Sean Tyas?
The Sean Tyas is course is in and delivered. For all the techno heads out there, we have a Mr. Umek, who is insane.
The techno god Umek? Are you serious?
Techno
Are
god
you serious?
Umek.
Oh my god!
We have got Speaker Honey, who is a big new...
The actual Speaker Honey?
The actual Speaker Honey, who's a big new techno artist. Her course is coming. Really, really good to have a female on there. And she is brilliant course. Sean Tyas is coming. We have Mike Shiver coming. And hopefully, a massive... I maybe shouldn't mention him because we haven't quite nailed the deal, but we're pretty much there. Should I say it?
No.
Or will that jinx it?
It'll jinx it. I don't even know what you're talking about, but...
Okay. He's done a course before, but his stock has totally risen. So, yeah, Mike Shiver. We have Speaker Honey. KC Lights. Did you... Yes, KC Lights. So
That
yeah,
was a
Casey
guess,
Lights
that
is.
was a guess.
It was a guess. What did you guess right off? So we got Casey Lights, we got UMEC, we got Sean Tyas, we got Speaker Honey, we've got some killer stuff. Rachel,
We have
Case.
asked Rachel.
We have asked Rachel.
Yeah.
We have a couple of times. We have. So some really exciting stuff coming. And amongst all our usual King Uniques and Protocultures and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
and as always, ask us if you have any producers that you'd like to
totally
us to cover. We can certainly hit them up. And now is as a good a time as it gets for trying to get sort of courses in, and we are trying to get as much stuff in as possible. What?
Should I ask that producer that's asking for donations, see if they do a course, see what happens?
Who was it? Who was it asking?
I can't. I wouldn't do that.
No. No.
Somebody's asking discount rhinos. No.
Discount rhinos back in the groove.
Back in the groove. So yeah, look, I'm really excited. Casey Lights. I don't know if it's FL. I don't know if Casey Lights is. I don't know if he's FL Studio, but he is really hot at the moment. He is producing some brilliant stuff.
You mean he was?
I have asked.
Lockdown.
Yeah, I have. We need another Austin Hull. Would you like Austin Hull again? Because Low Stepper. These are all good. Carl Cox, of course. Like Carl has. In fact, we have had the next best thing. Carl Cox does tracks with Steve Ward, and Steve Ward has done a course for us. So, Thrill Seekers. What do you think?
Thrill Seekers? We certainly give them a shout. What was the last big Thrill Seekers track?
He's had it's Hydra thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Enamour coming back?
Yes.
Yes. Enamour is coming back. He's doing a series of tech.
What could you get Camel Fat? What are they doing?
J-Tech. Camel Fat would cost us probably your house and studio, I'm sure, at this stage.
Maybe it'd be worth it. Who would like to see? Maybe we should, remember I used to do like Sound Like People. Do you reckon I could do one sounded like Camel Fat?
Like Camel Fat? Yeah. Alex Banks. Who's that? I don't know. Alex Banks. I'll have to go and check out John Hopkins.
I don't know. When was the last time I did a full tutorial? Must be good.
I don't know.
Good long time now.
So we have J-Tech back, we have UMEC, we have Sean Tyas, we have got Enamour, we have got some brilliant.
John Hopkins would be good, yeah.
Well, John Hopkins is there. You know, he's
I
there.
always ask. Maybe he's sitting at home. Maybe he thinks to himself, it'd be nice to give back to the community.
Do you think he's sitting at home going, I just wish Sonic Academy would call?
Someone like John Hopkins, I imagine their process isn't a particularly defined sort of thing. You know, his music is quite original and geniusy. So I would imagine that, a lot like the synth sounds and the patterns and stuff, I don't think that's the sort of thing that sort of would translate, sit in a log cabin for 6 weeks playing with an OB6 until the magic happens is not a tutorial, probably.
Kenny D, the Tale of Us, I would absolutely love the Tale of Us, but these sort of guys, you're just not getting them. They're so. It would just cost so much money, and we could probably Patrice Brie. I asked Patrice several times. I did ask him. I did ask. I do ask a lot of people, and it's just trying to get schedules and all working. But I'll keep hammering away because we do want to bring the biggest talent to you guys.
I think we need to hit up a couple of big guys and just go like, here's a wedge.
Here's a wedge.
Here's a big wedge. Do it.
Come on, Mazzo. I am in talks with Mazzo. I'm in talks with Mazzo. So hopefully.
Get something together for us, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So
MK,
hopefully,
no, not interested. He tried him before, didn't he? Casey Lights is the MK of.
He's the understudy for MK, so yeah, absolutely. So, Mr. David Guetta was he was a big fan of Sonic Academy. So
yeah, he took us out to dinner one night.
Didn't take me out.
Did you sneak off? A large steak, and then we went to a show.
Very good. Very good. Guys, thank you very much.
Justin Bieber, get a JB track.
JB track, we're on it. So yeah, look, something to go on there. Thank you for tuning in tonight.
Yep, thank you all very much. Been a fun show.
A little bit serious. We'll make it shits and giggles next week. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
we're going to
take
play
it easy, lads.
With the Synthwave course, and we'll catch you next week.
Hi, I'm Michael Oakley, and this is my start-to-finish Synthwave course on Sonic Academy. In this course, I'm going to talk to you about how I personally approach making music and show you specific ways that I work which can definitely help you in your own music. We'll also take a look at my track Control and go step by step through the process of how I created it and look at all aspects of the composition, sound design, processing and structure. And also, we are running an exclusive remix competition where the winning remix will get a release on New Retrowave as the B-side to my next single, which is coming out on May the 22nd. So if you enter, good luck. I'll be listening to every single remix and deciding the winner.
'Cause tomorrow's open wide.